wrong.
Mhm.
So, and I think we talked about one exercise where, you know, we practice lines and give comedic flair. Is there any other way to prepare or to grow your skill in comedy for actors who are not stand-up comedians or are typically not in a environment where they can just pass jokes around? Maybe something
Mhm.
like with themselves.
So what I do and where honestly I get 90% of my comedy from
Mm-hmm.
is in just regular conversations with friends, with family, um, and saying something and then just kind of seeing everybody laugh and then kind of saying like, okay, that's a good joke. You know what I mean? But when I'm saying it, I'm not saying it for that reason, but just being able to recognize it. And it was a comedy book that I had, and honestly, I forget the name of it, but it was one of the books that I was reading while I was really getting started with stand up, and it was just talking about using your third eye, and you know, just in a lot of different situations, you know, just having that natural comedy from just kicking it with friends. You guys are talking about whatever, and then you know, you say something, you just realize like everybody is dying laughing right now, just keeping that moment and kind of jotting it down real quick in terms of like the setup and how it just kind of flowed and whatever story that you was telling, because that's a lot of times where you don't have to just make up comedy, you've seen it work in person, you know what I mean? So even if you're not trying to write down the joke, remembering your delivery or remembering like how you said it and what made it funny, you know what I mean? And just kind of doing that in a lot of different situations, whether you're being with your parents now, you guys are just talking about something you saw on the news and you just kind of blurt out something and then everybody's like, oh man, like that's crazy. And it's like, okay, let me think about how I said that. How did I deliver that?
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
the pacing that kind of, you know, made them laugh? And the more you kind of recognize this in different situations, you kind of develop your own style or you realize what your style is,
Yeah.
because everybody kind of has a style of comedy, even if you're not funny, even if it's just like really dry and it's like, girl, you always do that or whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever. A lot of people still find a way to make their friends laugh somehow. And you don't really recognize what your style is because it's just a normal day-to-day thing. This is just you living life. But the more you start to recognize it, you start to realize, okay, this is my style. Like this is how I deliver jokes, whether I knew it or not. You know what I mean? Now that I recognize it, I see that this is my style, you know. So yeah, actors just kind of figuring out what their style is would also help, and kind of show them their strengths when it comes to like a comedic script.
Got you. So
Mhm.
just being intentional about the unpacking or kind of debriefing with yourself when things work.
Mhm.
And I am so on the bandwagon of a short pencil is better than a long memory. So like what
Mhm.
you were saying, writing it down, writing
I
all
use
the
my notes in my phone a lot. Like I have notes and notes and notes of just jokes that came from just natural situations, and it's like, okay, that's funny, that's a joke, or that's a video. You know what I mean? That's literally how I get all my videos, just from, you know, talking to friends or just seeing certain things as I'm going through life, and I'm like, that's a video. You know what I mean? Boom. I'm just jot this down real quick because it's normal. It's something that people see all of the time, but it's actually really funny when you think about it.
okay, okay. I love that. So you mentioned a second ago a book that you utilized. Are there any other resources that you know off the top of your head or can take a second to think about that would be great for actors who want to strengthen their skills in that way? It could be like um, maybe a podcast or a YouTube channel or you know articles or books or people to follow that can help them.
Um, hmm. I
You, of
am,
course.
yeah. I've got to look up that book, but in terms of something that they could also do to strengthen, I mean, I know what really got me into comedy was improv, and I guess that's when I kind of realized that I was funny. But just taking the improv classes with Dwayne, and then them kind of starting the Strange Groove improv group, and then me being a part of that, and just kind of recognizing that when we do improv nights, people kind of look forward to my improv scene because they think it's going to be funny. It's like, okay, so people think I'm funny, but improv is what really kind of started working that comedic muscle for me. Um, but even with just watching different stand-ups, I don't know, for kids that could be tough because a lot of stand-up isn't like clean, but like a Jerry Seinfeld, he's a beast because like he doesn't curse. His stuff is really supernatural. Like he doesn't do any body
Yeah.
stuff. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just like I'm just
If
giving
there
you
was a
this
spectrum,
just
he would be on like 0.
yes. You know what I mean?
And
And
Kevin Hart is
he's
on
just
10.
right. You know what I mean? So yeah, Jerry, no physical comedy really is just observational comedy. And
Yeah.
like it's perfect for the Jerry Seinfeld show, or just, what I mean, television that has, you know, um
Or that particular network.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's a good
So,
example of like Tyler, like a BT Tyler Perry show versus a network, Seinfeld, whatever
mhm,
network that's on
yeah,
show.
exactly. Yeah. It's from knee snapper to just the comedy is
Dry.
written
Yeah.
the way it's supposed to be. And I'm not going to force you to laugh, but you're going to think this is hilarious. And even with the different characters in that show, like Jerry again is the dry guy. Then you have the guy with the really curly hair. I forget what his name was, but
Yeah.
he's just goofy and he's just gonna say outlandish things, but he's still not making it a knee slapper. It's like this is just my personality. I thought that was true. I didn't know that. You know what I mean? So it's
Hmm.
um, just kind of figuring out what character kind of resonates with you. I think for me growing up, um, like Will Smith on The Fresh Prince was always somebody who I saw myself kind of close to, because I'm like, this is a cool guy. He's just a fresh, chill type of guy, but he's just really naturally funny, and he's not
Yeah.
giving you, a whole lot either way. Like Martin, he's giving you a lot more physical comedy for sure, and jumping around, you know what I mean? And even
Right.
though it's
Right.
funny, I just kind of resonate. I kind of related more to Will Smith, to where he's just like, Carlton, what are you doing right now? What's on your head? You know what I mean? And it's
Hmm.
funny.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I think
So is that a key too?
for
Maybe find an established comedian that you kind of align with, or is that's not important?
I think so. I think so for sure, because it also kind of it helps you see your style on the big stage. You know what I mean? So and I do like a lot of analogies, but even with like basketball, I was a basketball player, but I knew that I was just a shooter. Like I was strictly a shooter. So a lot of people I watched were like Ray Allen or Steph Curry, and just people who did a lot of like running off screens and getting open for a wide open shot. That helped me realize like, okay, these are some of the things that I need to do. So as actors trying to get into that comedic realm, like first you have to identify what your style is. If you're any type of person, then you want to watch more. But if you're, more just kind of dry, I'm telling you, it is what it is, but it's funny. Then, more like Dave Chappelle, more Jerry Seinfeld, people who just are really chill, but they're just hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're
So
showing you how to do what you're trying to do, pretty much.
it's the blueprint for me.
Mhm,
Lay it
mhm.
out. Lay it
Yep.
out for me.